Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Charlie. On today's episode, I'm going to be showing y'all how to make my delicious Dutch apple pie from scratch. Now, apple pie can be made several different ways. It has a bottom crust with the apple filling in it. It has this streusel-like crumb topping. In addition to that, we also add oatmeal and pecans to it. It can also have almonds and raisins in it as well. This can be served warm or cold, and it could also be served with whipped cream or ice cream. This recipe calls for about 8 servings of homemade Dutch style apple pie. It's great for like fall or even during the holidays. It's absolutely delicious. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, here's all you'll need to make your homemade Dutch apple pie. Let's get started with our ingredients. You'll need 6 large Granny Smith apples. This is about 3 pounds and 10 ounces in weight total. And along with that, you will need 1 medium-sized lemon, all-purpose flour, sugar, brown sugar, salt, unsalted butter cold, buttered flavored vegetable shortening cold, cornstarch, vanilla extract, cinnamon, allspice, Quaker oats, oatmeal, and some chopped pecans. And for your tools, you will need a food processor. Now, if you don't have this, you can use a regular pastry cutter. You will also need a rolling pin, an apple wedger, a fruit peeler, and to bake your pie, you will need a 9.5 inch in diameter deep dish pie pan. And there we have it. Alright, let's get straight to it. So in this large food processor, remember you can also use a pastry cutter as well. I'm going to add 1 1/3 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 1/2 tablespoons of sugar, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to pulse this about 2 to 3 times just to get the ingredients incorporated. Add 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter and 4 tablespoons of buttered vegetable shortening. Make sure that the butter and the shortening is cold. Pulse this 8 to 10 times. Alright, that looks good. Alright, I'll transfer my flour, butter, shortening, sugar, and salt mixture into this medium-sized bowl. And to that, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of cold water. I'm going to take a sturdy spoon and I'm going to stir this until the mixture starts to come together. Next, I'm going to take my hands and I'm just going to form this into a dough. Next, I'm going to knead the dough for about 30 seconds. Place this into your refrigerator and let the dough rest for about 10 to 15 minutes. Lightly flour the surface of your table. Add the dough on top of the table. Take your hands and press the dough down into a flat circle. I'm going to sprinkle some more all-purpose flour on top of the dough. Next, I'm going to take my rolling pin and I'm going to roll the dough into a 14-inch in diameter circle. Okay, next I'm going to sprinkle some flour on top of the flattened dough. I'm going to take my rolling pin and I'm going to add it onto the edge of the dough. And from there, I'm going to carefully roll the dough onto the rolling pin. As I'm rolling the dough onto the rolling pin, I'm going to take some flour and I'm going to add some more flour onto the dough as I roll it up onto the rolling pin. I'm going to take my rolling pin with the dough on it and place it onto the edge of the pie pan. Then I'm going to carefully roll the dough off of the rolling pin onto the pie pan. Take your hand and press the dough down into the pie pan. I'm going to take some kitchen scissors and I'm going to trim off the excess dough. Now you want to leave about 1 1/2 inches of dough hanging from the pie pan. Now to form the pie crust edge, we're going to take the excess dough hanging from the pie pan and we're just going to roll it toward the edge of the pie pan, as you see here. Now to crimp the pie crust, here I have an edge of a butter knife. You can just use your fingers if you want to. I'm going to crimp the pie crust using my index and my middle finger, and I'm going to push outward with my index and my middle finger while pushing in with the edge of the butter knife. And I'm going to go all around the pie crust edge doing this exact same decoration as you see here. And next I'm going to take a fork and I'm going to poke holes into the bottom portion of the pie crust. This is going to prevent the pie crust from bubbling up at the bottom during the baking process. And the bottom crust is complete. Place this into your freezer for 1 hour or until the entire pie crust is frozen. Alright, let's get started with our apple streusel crumb topping. So in this large food processor, I'm going to add 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to pulse this about 2 to 3 times just to get it all together. Add 3 tablespoons of cubed unsalted butter and 3 tablespoons of cubed vegetable shortening. Make sure that the butter in the shortening is cold. Pulse this 8 to 10 times. Next, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of the Quaker oats and 1/4 cup of chopped pecans. Pulse this about 4 to 6 times. Add 1 1/2 tablespoons of cold water and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Pulse this about 4 to 6 times. And our crumb topping is ready. Place this into your freezer for about 30 minutes to an hour, stirring occasionally. Alright, let's get started with our apples. So I'm going to get started by peeling all 6 Granny Smith apples with the fruit peeler. And there we go. Okay, here I have my apple wedger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the center of the apple wedger onto the center of the apple, right where the core is, right in the middle. And from there, I'm going to push down. And there we have it. We have our apple slices. And from there, you can discard the apple core. All right, now as you can see here, some of the core hasn't been removed. So we're just going to take a knife and just cut just the tip off right here. Just slice that off. Same thing here. Okay, next you're going to take each apple slice and you're going to cut it in half. Like that. Okay, here I have 1 medium-sized lemon. I'm going to go ahead and cut the lemon in half. Okay, I placed my apple slices into this large bowl, and here I have 1/2 of the lemon. I'm just going to squeeze just a small amount of the lemon onto the apples. From there, I'm going to take my hands and I'm just going to toss the apples. And to that, I'm going to add 3/4 cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of allspice, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now I'm going to take a large sturdy spoon and I'm just going to stir all the ingredients together. And you're going to continue to stir this for 5 minutes. And as you are stirring the apples will start to release their juices. Alright, it's been about 5 minutes now. And as you can see, the apples have released their juices, as you can see here. Okay, here we have a large pot. This is a 8-quart pot. I'm just going to take a strainer and place that on top. And from there, I'm just going to add the apple slices in the strainer. And from there, I'm just going to stir this for about 30 seconds. This is going to allow for some of the apple juices to drain into the pot. Now I'm going to set this on the side. And the juices left over in the pot, we're going to let this simmer. Preheat your fire to medium heat. Okay, here we have our juices from our apple in this large pot. And to that, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of melted unsalted butter. And I'm going to give this a quick stir. I'm going to let this simmer for 2 minutes, stirring occasionally. Alright, it's been about 2 minutes now. I'm going to go ahead and give this a quick stir. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn my fire off. Add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Give this a quick stir. Add your apple slices. Stir all ingredients together. Make sure you stir it really well. Let this cool for 10 minutes. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and preheat my oven to 350 degrees. Okay, here we have our frozen pie shell ready to go. Add the apple filling into the frozen pie shell. I'm going to take a spatula and spread the apples around the pie pan as evenly as possible. Now you want to push the apples more toward the center of the pie. Okay, here we have our crumb topping. We're going to add all the contents of the crumb topping on top of the apple filling. Okay, next you're going to take your hands and you're just going to press the crumb topping down into the pie. There we go. Now it is ready to be baked. Place this into a preheated 350-degree oven on the bottom rack. Bake this for 1 hour and 10 minutes. Alright, it's been about 1 hour and 10 minutes now for our Dutch apple pie. Now let's go ahead and remove this out of the oven. Let the pie cool completely before serving. This can take about 3 to 4 hours. Alright, and here is the bottom crust for the apple pie. As you can see here, that is a nice golden brown. That lets us know that our pie crust has been baked thoroughly. And for best results, once the pie has cooled completely, you can wrap it with aluminum foil and place it into your refrigerator, and that way the flavors can settle and increase overnight. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, Dutch style apple pie, made by New Orleans native. If you like my channel, hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell button if you want to be notified of my videos. I have an official website for all of my recipes, including this one. Go to www.charliethecookandrews.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter under the name Charlie the Cook Andrews. Stay tuned as Charlie's Taste Test is coming up next. Can't wait. Now it's time to go ahead and take a bite. Now it wouldn't be right if I had apple pie without vanilla ice cream, so I got a nice scoop of vanilla ice cream on top. So here goes nothing. Oh yeah. Oh man, I really love the flavor of this pie. It is absolutely delicious. Has a wonderful apple flavor. This is actually one of the best apple pies I've ever made. I mean, it is extraordinarily delicious. It is really good and it pairs very well with that vanilla ice cream. It is delicious. Now, I'm not telling y'all this just because I want y'all to go out and try the recipe or anything like that. I'm just speaking for myself. It is really good. So give the recipe a try. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, have a good one. Peace.